Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis of oil and natural gas, some of my favorite sectors with some of my favorite companies. I'll even tell you what my favorite companies are when we go over them. You guys will know what I'm piled into and what my favorites are and why. Maybe I'll describe a little bit why I think they're so good. And I'm going to go over the 10-year yield first just to show you guys kind of what's going on with the 10-year yield. These things are basically matching the 10-year yield just on steroids. I mean, it's a lot more volatile. But we'll go over it. I'll give you my financial opinion. Please don't use this as advice. But here we go. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up button, please. Thank you. Here's the 10-year yield. I'm just showing you what's going on. We've been going kind of sideways since March of 21. We pulled back. We came on up. And then we've been chopping sideways. We had a pretty sharp move from the moronic virus getting slammed down with fear. And that manifests itself in the oil price. So if you look at the oil price, you can kind of see this is an upward slant because we were so out of balance. That was that downward move in 10-year. We came back up, and then we had this moronic virus. And we've been chopping sideways. We were up on the 10-year yield today. We were up today in oil quite a bit. Think of it as fear and less fear and money flows. We had this nice big bullish reversal candlestick yesterday. We came up very nice today with a bullish engulfing pattern here. This engulfs the one before it. It's looking quite well. I've got my awesome little drawing in here where this could potentially move on up. Eventually, we'll see how long this thing lasts. This is not a prediction. I threw this in there just for the heck of it. But it seems to be working quite well. Natural gas, a little bit of an update today. You can see my little drawing in here. That's kind of what I've got. We'll see if this actually plays out this way. I want this stuff to stay down. I don't want it to go up because I want to buy some more. I got to move some money over. So here's XOP. So someone was asking me, go over an ETF. XOP is a ETF that I think that looks pretty good. We are right at this large downtrend line. Sometimes you get these patterns here where they do this, they break down, and then we launch. And we're trying to break out of this big old pattern here. We got a nice, good bullish piercing today. That one looks good. For the weeklies, this is the daily. We're coming back up. Momentum's coming back up, so that looks good. SM Energy's looking strong. I like SM Energy a lot. A big old shoulder head, and we're putting in a little shoulder here, I think. Let's zoom in on it. Here's our little shoulder that's playing out. Zooming in on it on the dailies. We got this kind of downward motion. We're doing a double bottom. Nice, good buying pressure down here, and we're coming back up. We're at 29 bucks almost. So this is looking good. Hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling. We do have, it's bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing. Man, this is a fighting move down here. Lots of buyers and sellers duking it out. CDEV's the same thing. We got this kind of double bottom pattern and moving on up. So this one looks good. It finished. I own a whole bunch of SM Energy, and I own a good stake in CDEV. I also have been acquiring quite good amounts of Crew Energy. Crew Energy, just to let you know, I bought it at 33 cents. Right here, I really loaded up. I was like, this is it. This is when a couple guys on the channel and myself were talking about Crew Energy. I said, guys, check it out. They look very undervalued in this area down here. They've ran on up. I am continuing to pile into this. We broke this channel. We have done a little bit of back testing here, and I'm cost averaging in with whatever money I've got left to beef up this position as best I can. We came down, nice, good buying pressure today. We've got a little bit of resistance that's right at it. And even if this bounces around a little bit, I'm not afraid because this is a very undervalued company. If you guys like and are looking for an oil company, go check out Crew Energy's presentations on their website. I think it has a lot of value, their reserves. It's a small little oil company, and I think they're going to do very well. And they've responded very well to the price moves. That's another thing that I think is very important. Callum Petroleum is another one I own. Big old reverse head and shoulders. It's creating that other shoulder right now. Going into the dailies, We're finding a little bit of support here. Nice little pop today, higher. Again, I'm not too worried about where this thing goes. I own it. It's not my largest holdings, but I own a good chunk in it. Another one that I think is doing very well is Athabasca Oil. It has the pop, guys, and with this thing breaking the downtrend like this, and this guy putting in another kind of pattern that we're about to break, when it starts clearing these, I think we're going to see a very large move from $1.80 all the way till $6. It could really start to move. There isn't much resistance through here, and that's what gets me really excited. And this thing, I mean, it has a lot of potential to move way on up from where it is today. I did buy some at 16 cents, and I've been holding on the entire time. It wasn't a huge position. I put whatever I could in at the time, but I would add more in here. Recap. Looking at this guy here, let's go to the dailies. Descending wedge, descending wedge, descending wedge, and what do you think it's doing now? Probably another descending wedge. Why not, right? Let's descend the wedges out of all this. Kind of another wedge type pattern. It's just kind of moving sideways, waiting for something to make it move. And hopefully this thing pops. Hopefully it pops big. Northern Oil and Gas, descending wedge pattern I drew in yesterday. It popped to the upside, a little bit of a breakout. I think this thing looks fantastic to be a buyer here. I do have a good amount in Northern Oil and Gas. I've been a buyer of it. I've been holding on. This is a massive pattern that it's developed. It's broken to the upside. The lowest risk spot to buy this is in here. Just because it's a low risk spot and just because it's above its pattern doesn't mean it has to go higher. But with this pattern here and the way it is, I would bet, and I put money in it here, is where I would do it to ride it on higher. But that's me. Again, that's not financial advice. It's just my opinion. Crescent Point's got that same big pattern. I do own a little bit in this. I do not think it has the same amount of pop as maybe some of these other ones. Maybe. We've seen it come on up, but the bounces haven't been as strong as some of the other companies. But this does look like a really great pattern here. And it could move quite substantially to the upside. So I do own some in it. It's not my largest holding, just to disclose. But I do own some in here. GrandTerra Energy. Here's the big old pattern here. It came on down and we're starting to work our way up. I do own a stake in GrandTerra. Here's the daily. It's been chopping sideways. I think we're probably going to eventually head higher here. It looks good, just like all the other companies. Tellurian, nice good move today. I own a little bit in Tellurian as well. Big picture view, if we can break this pattern at 1850, this thing's going to launch, but that's a good ways away. And I was hoping we could get a little more momentum through here and get kind of up to $6-7 quicker than what I thought. Yeah, $5 to $6. But it's been sticky. PED. Looking at this guy here, zooming on in, we've been chopping sideways in this pattern. It's a big old decline. I'm sure they've diluted shares and whatnot, so we'll see what happens here. OAS, this is Oasis. They went bankrupt. I bought it, and then I've been holding on to it. It's been just moving sideways here. There's the daily candlesticks as it's moving sideways. CRK, Comstock Resources. I like buying the retest. We got this pattern. It broke to the upside. It's coming back to do a retest. And I think we're probably going to see eventually a large move higher for Comstock Resources. I have a little bit in here. I bought it as it was coming up somewhere in here, I think. And I've been holding on, and this is a good spot right here to be looking at it. If you guys like Comstock, it's more of a, I think this one's more of a natural gas company. Sandridge is another one that I've been piling into. Sandridge, I think it's more of a natural gas company. I think we have problems in natural gas on a weekly perspective. This has a nice, good bullish. It's a bullish engulfing pattern right here, engulfing the day before it. That's a reversal pattern to move on up. Hopefully that's what manifests itself. On the dailies, it's looking good. We got good buying pressure today. Let's hope it can continue. Tetra Technology is getting a little bit of buying pressure today. It's looking pretty good. We're very cheap in this big pattern. The thing that I'll say here, guys, is these patterns develop themselves. It's the humans interacting with each other, creating these patterns in the markets. Whenever you can see and get into some of these patterns, C19 blew this to the downside. I bought in at 50 cents. I got a good stake in it, and I bought a little bit coming into that strength. I've been holding on, and even down here, this is incredibly cheap because when it breaks this pattern, this big old pattern, it's going to have a nice large move to the upside. This right here was stealing it. Looking at rig, I do own a little bit of rig. It's an energy service company that does more drilling in the ocean. And we got the reverse head and shoulders pattern. Looks like it's starting to put in a bullish piercing pattern. We're finding support down here on a weekly candlestick basis. Nice big up day today. Lots of wicks at the bottom, which means buyers are down here. I think it looks really good. We start breaking through this stuff. I mean, it's going to do wonders for hopefully the portfolio. Helix is breaking its little downtrend or trying to break through it right now. Helix Energy Solutions, big picture view. This is a massive pattern. Whenever you get these patterns that go very high to very low like this, that's a fractal. And when you go to reverse this pattern and do projections upward, it's going to be way up there for the projection. So what I like to do is I add a little bit in and I just hold on. The conditions here, I mean, it still hasn't broken. We're still in the pattern. Energy services are probably going to be slow to get money because a lot of companies are going to want to cut their spending. But the energy service companies, I think, will do well, and they'll have to ramp up spending with energy service companies eventually. So Helix is one that I kind of watch. And I own a little bit in it. Surge Energy, this is one that I've just started kind of watching. It's right at the bottom here. It's got the volume kicking up. We've been really, really low. We're at the bottom of its kind of pattern. This thing's got a massive pattern coming to the downside. If this thing can start to reverse and start making some new highs, especially if it can close above $7.60, I mean, this thing will be into a new uptrend, but it needs a little more work. I've just been watching it, and maybe it deserves a little bit of capital. I wouldn't be pumping it. Same with Tamarack Valley. This guy's looking like it's ready to pop to the upside at any point here. It's up to you on what you guys want to do, but I mean, when it breaks, I think we'll get a nice little move out of it. So that's what I've got for oil and natural gas. I think they look pretty good. If the 10-year continues to go up, I think all these will go up. Energy is going to look fantastic. Next year, I think we're going to see fireworks. Will it start right now? I don't know. The very short term, I don't like trying to time these things in the very, very short term. We can try our best to get good entry points. We cost average in. We do what the thesis of the channel and what we've learned in all these videos on the channel. We look for patterns. We try our best. We cost average in. We try not to predict the short term. But if the short term gives us opportunities where we have good buy points, take advantage of it, sprinkle some in just like I would, and then just hold on. I can understand that some of you guys can get, you get into positions, you get down a little bit, you might get a little bit emotional. You might think, oh, this isn't working. He's wrong. You have to stick with the thesis of the channel. You got to know this stuff inside and out. That's what gives you the conviction to hold on. And some of these companies that I have in this watch list, they're going to absolutely explode to the upside. I mean, they're going to have ridiculous returns over the next years. And if we have this energy crisis in oil that comes up, you're going to be so happy that you have some of these in your portfolio. I'm not saying to go all in on any of them, but spread it out. Get some if that's what you want to do and it fits within your financial plan to diversify out and maybe get a couple of these guys in there and just hold on. What are my favorites? SM Energy, CDEV, Crew Energy, which is CWEGF. I do like Athabasca Oil. It's starting to look better and better. And if we have a natural gas crisis, I think Sandridge and Comstock are looking quite good. Antero Resources, I haven't gone over it. That's another good one to look at. Southwestern Energy, if you guys want a little bit bigger company, that's another one I hold a good stake in. And all these guys, all of them that I go over here, they're all very good bets. So, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Get your cost averaging in a lot of these, and I think you'll be happy in a couple of years when these things are vastly higher. Vastly higher. They're so undervalued right now. The ratio is just ridiculous for oil to gold. It's still in the upper 20s. That is still almost at the bottom of other. It's at the bottom of other starts of commodity booms. So we're still at the bottom of most commodity bull markets of their ratios. Thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.